Fractional Frequency, our take on talent, people trends, and the reality of building up businesses in an economy that keeps rewriting the rules. I'm Amy Crook, founder of Strativus.
And I'm Erin Totis, Managing Director of Talent Delivery, which basically means I live in the universe of finding the right people to make an impact for our clients fast.
Around here, we talk about the real side of HR and talent, what works, what absolutely doesn't, and how to build teams that can carry a business, not drag it down.
We'll break down trends, share the behind the scenes of scaling a consultancy from zero, and probably overshare a little because that's where the good lessons live.
So whether you're building, hiring, leading, or just trying to keep your company profitable, you're in the right place.
This is Fractional Frequency. Let's get to it.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I am very good. Excited for today's podcast.
I am so excited. And today we have a special guest dialing in from London, Gail Radley. Gail is a hugely successful entrepreneur and CEO, founder of H&G Recruitment, a business that she scaled from zero to 43 million pounds in annual revenue. Additionally, she owns a one-year-old logistics business called NTS, Network Transport Solutions, which is already turning over 2 million in annual revenue. Gail leads a team of over 50 people. She's a problem solver, a strategist, a thought leader, and we're so excited to have her here with us today. Welcome, Gail.
Thank you for that lovely introduction.
Hi, welcome. So excited to chat with you today.
I cannot wait to just pick into your brain, Gail. So let's get right to it. We're going to talk a little bit about your story. And I would love to start with learning about what inspired you to launch your own business.
You know what? I often get asked this question, and the truthful answer is I would never have done it unless I was pushed.
Mm.
I worked for a huge company before I started up on my own called Carlisle Staffing. And Carlisle had some amazing investors and entrepreneurs that I was privileged to work alongside. I worked for them for 14 years. And if you cut me in half, I had their businesses running through me.
Mm.
And unfortunately, as people or as entrepreneurs do, we often burn out and we don't recognize when burnout is approaching. And I made a couple of errors and mistakes which led to my demise. And sitting in my front room thinking, oh my God, I don't want this to happen to me again.
Yeah.
I decided to travel the world.
Oh, wow.
Regroup and think about what I wanted in life. So I rented my house out, put all my life into boxes, put that into storage, and took off to Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Bangkok.
Wow.
Bangkok is in Thailand, but Hong Kong and Dubai on the way back.
Nice.
And the thing is, when you've been working, at the pace that you do, and you're a director, a successful director, you would never dream of having a year off.
No.
So I was 33 years old at the time. And I mean, it was probably the most incredible year of my life because I'd worked flat out ever since I left university, having the normal regular holidays that everyone has. And this is 25 years ago. So, and I had an amazing time. And the thing is, whilst I was sitting on all the different beaches that I travelled to and experiencing all the wonderful countries and cities that I went to, I was taking notes and noting down ideas along the way. And when I came back to the UK after my trip, people did ask me, when are you going to find the time to work? And I said, well, I've got bills to pay. I need to move back into my house, really.
Yeah.
And I had a few jobs on the table. So I'd made all these notes and I'd thought about what I wanted. And I didn't really have the confidence to start up a business on my own. And so I took a job. I think I lasted 4 weeks because burnout is a real thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't acknowledge why you burnt out in the first place, you're just going to repeat the cycle. And traveling and experiencing, I would always recommend that to anybody, especially if you haven't done it in your early 20s, to have a career break and achieve that kind of experience teaches you so much. And I mean, I never thought twice about working a 12, 14-hour day. It was kind of the norm back then. Before we gained some perspective and balance through lockdown. And I remember driving into this company and thinking to myself, what am I doing? And I'd been reading the entrepreneurial book written by the gentleman who set up Yo-Yo Sushi. I'll remember his name in a minute. And his story was so inspiring. I thought, you know what, I could do that. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And I kind of had this epiphany. And I sold my house and I moved into a rabbit hutch. I kid you not. I think it was like two up, two down, this blooming little tiny house. I scaled my car right down to a little puddle jumper, went from my BMW 7 Series to an Audi A3.
That's not too bad of a jump down, Gail.
Well, it was when it was probably about 10 years old, this little car, but it was an Audi A3, so I kind of, but in the corporate world here in the UK, from one status to another, I don't think I'd owned a car for 15 years. I'd always had a company car, so it was all quite a big. And from the front room of this little rabbit hutch, I started to graft. And I used to joke with people because I used to say, I just want to get enough people working for me to make enough money to pay my mortgage, pay my bills, and to continue to see the world. Because I'd had this taste of travel and suddenly thought to myself, I quite like this. There's another world out there.
Yeah, no, totally.
And I don't know where all the work came from, but I think if you have entrepreneurial flair and you're in desire when you're working for a company, I think owners of businesses really want to tap into that talent and keep those types of people secure, because they are the lifeblood of sales and how you increase your business. And they let me go. And I put my name out in the newspaper and the phone started to ring.
Wow.
And you have to be confident in your ability. You have to know that your clients are king. Your clients are everything to you. And I treated both my clients and candidates the same. Everybody was precious to me. And within, I think it was like 3 or 4 months, my business partner, because I was lucky enough to have somebody else come along for the ride at the startup. And she begged me to move into a serviced office because I used to roll out of bed in the morning, attach my ear to the phone, and not finish until 7 o'clock that evening. And she'd sort of be walking around with a peg on her nose and said, "Are you going to have a go and have a shower now? Because you've got to give your heart and soul to whatever you do." And luckily back then in those days, we didn't have Zoom and we didn't have, Teams calls, etc. So nobody knew I was sat there in my pajamas talking to them. Um, and obviously, customer service, personality is everything. So I was very lucky to be in a people-driven business. I was very lucky to have clients who I'd delivered a great service to previously. And when that service wasn't there for that year that I took off, they missed it.
Yeah.
So in everything you do, you need to make your mark. You want to be remembered, be unique, be different, be honest, be integral. Because trust me now, it is the greatest accolade to sell your service. And I was privileged enough to be able to put my name out, say where I was, say what I was doing, and the phone started to ring.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. And I think it resonates certainly for me as I think, Amy, about a lot of the work that we're doing. In many cases, it's with people that we've worked with before, because when you are just customer obsessed and you care deeply about their problems enough to make them your own, that really resonates with people. And I think it's more uncommon than you might think. And so that makes tons of sense to me, Gail. I would love your thoughts on success and um, particularly what success looks like at various stages of your journey. So, early stage to sort of mid stage to today. How do you think about or how do you measure that?
A really good question, Erin, because when you start out and your business starts to grow, it's all about making money. It's all about investing. It's all about, you know, seeing the bottom line grow. Um, and having the confidence to keep investing, to keep growing.
Mm.
As your business matures, and so does your team, and so does your client base, it's actually then becomes more important to you to see those around you become successful, because that's the testament of your success. And there's nothing more satisfying than growing a team of people that buy into your values, of people that share your values, and then seeing them going on to bigger and better things, and in some cases taking over you, and becoming hugely successful. And I think certainly in my most recent years of my career, that's for me the testament of success. We're still here, we're still battling away to, survive some of the rocky economic challenges that are thrown at you. But when you see people that have worked for you also being massively successful, then you know that's what success looks like.
Mm. That's incredible. And I'm sure at this point, there are a number of success stories and people that you can point to and look to who have learned and built their careers off of learnings from you. So that's fantastic. I think Amy and I talk about this a lot. The idea of being a founder or a CEO is really sexy and exciting to most people, but maybe kind of pull the curtain back for us a little bit. What misconceptions do people have about becoming a founder and CEO?
Well, I think the most important thing is you have to be humble.
Mm.
There's not a single job in my business that I've not done, and
Right.
that includes cleaning the toilets.
Right.
Um, there's not a single person that's not been important to me that I've taken on.
Mm.
Every time you take somebody on, you are investing in, or you're like I said before, you're privileged enough to be investing in somebody who trusts you with their time, with their energy, with what they want to put into making your company even more successful. And if they don't cut it, then you've got to then face into those difficult conversations around why.
Mm.
Um, so the responsibility is huge, and I think that's what people underestimate. Um, and you can't give up. You've got to keep trying. I tell people that being busy breeds business.
Oh, Gail, we say that every day since you said that to us the first time. We say it
Uh,
every day.
I always have a task list and I always have objectives to achieve every day.
Yeah.
Um, because I need to be kept on the straight and narrow. Entrepreneurs can tend to,
Yep.
disappear off into the ether of ideas and success as such.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so I like to know what I've achieved in a day, and I like to talk with people at the end of the day and the start of the day about what we've all got planned, and and what I expect to get out of my day.
Yeah.
And I think people underestimate. I think people think that CEOs sit in an ivory tower uh, and it's all great, to be directing and lunching and playing golf. Trust me, that's not reality. Especially when you're in a staffing business.
Yeah.
Um, and it's about people. And people never cease to amaze me. So I'm constantly learning. Um, and I think that's what you've got to be open to. You will constantly learn, and you've got to constantly have your wits about you to take on board that learning and put it into good practice, because there's a reason why you learnt the lessons that you learnt.
Yeah.
Um, and and never give up,
Yeah.
because there's plenty of challenge that I've thought to myself, oh my God, not again, here we go again. But you do get through it, and you get through it because you work hard. And all business owners that are successful work hard. Nowadays we can work smart, which is great.
Mhm.
And I've really enjoyed embracing the whole work smart ethic that came out of lockdown, and being more flexible and being able to offer staff more flexibility and more hybrid solutions to allow them to work and be productive.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a firm believer in empowering people. I think knowledge is power. And I think, trust, when an employee feels trusted and empowered with knowledge, I think they are 100% more effective.
Yeah.
And I think that the new smarter ways of working really empower people to do that.
Mhm.
Obviously, if you've got the same level of integrity as the owner of the company. So
Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't trust the people that you have on your team, then they're on the wrong team. So I think always going in first with that mentality of that I trust this person to get done what they're responsible for doing is a good way to operate rather than acting with like suspicion. It's not healthy.
it's not healthy, no. But I think what's been great about the last 10 years is how we have all discovered smarter ways of working, more flexible ways of working. We've embraced hybrid working. We've allowed people to find their way. And I actually have people now wanting to come into the office because they want to be with other people and,
Yeah.
not just work from home, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that gives you more of a buzz than a great, successful sales office.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people learn from people. We all learn from each other. So stuck at home, you're not going to learn, from your little AI avatar in the corner every day.
Yeah.
Much new. But if you all get together and share your avatars, then maybe you'll learn something new. So it's wonderful to get that balance now.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Gail, I'm pretty familiar with the industry that your business supports because my grandfather had a logistics business before he retired, and my mum still works in transport and logistics to this day. It's a really male-dominated space, so I wonder if we could talk a little bit about that. Did you ever feel any pressure to adapt your either communication style or leadership style to meet the needs of the people that you were supporting?
My honest answer is no. My honest answer is that the logistics industry in the UK, yes, it's male dominated, but I think that's more around the hours that historically people have had to work, and it's it's quite a heavy industry. So from a physical point of view,
Mm,
um, it naturally has always been recognised as male dominated, and there's obviously a lot more men that drive trucks in the UK than there are women.
hmm
Again, in the last 10 years, we've seen more women coming into the industry. We've seen a lot more diverse initiatives being launched and people persuaded to come into logistics. And it's been marketed as a much more sexy, appealing industry, providing great careers for people.
mm,
So, and I think because I always loved logistics and I always loved working and I loved business, the men that I worked with, I actually learnt from and I enjoyed learning.
yeah,
They taught me so much that I never felt um, inferior.
that's
Um,
great.
and that's why I would then encourage, you see, other girls and women to come into the industry because, you know, if you're not necessarily academic,
Mm,
but you have got a great work ethic and you do want a good career and a good salary in the UK,
hmm
then the logistics is a great route to come in and get a career, whether you come out of university as a graduate and go into a graduate management development program,
hmm
or whether you come in at the lower level and work your way up.
hmm
Um, and like I said before, I think knowledge is power. So I'm always trying to learn more and always trying to talk to people on their level.
hmm
Um, so I didn't feel intimidated, I think is the kind of word I'm using looking for.
Yeah.
Um, because I wasn't really put in that position to be. But also I'm very clear about my boundaries as an individual.
Mm,
And I think if you make your boundaries very clear from the start, people know where they stand.
yeah.
So, um, but we live in a different world now. So, um, I had I had a lot of great experiences of working with a lot of very knowledgeable men, many of which have retired now, um, and even more knowledgeable women.
Yeah.
So my experience has always been one of diverse connections, um, and and my business has always reflected that. I've always tried to balance um, having, the best man for the job or woman for the job.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Um,
I totally agree. Like, hardworking and dedication and a
As
curiosity
an
to
entrepreneur,
learn. It's
that's all you want from
yeah.
anyone who works for you, you know.
Yeah.
But reversely or perversely, on the other end, on the other side of it, recruitment, and essentially that's the business we're in. We are a resourcing staffing agency that supplies contingent workers that can drive HGV trucks and deliver to all of the big supermarkets across the UK.
Yeah.
And and naturally, drivers are predominantly male. So actually, my office, I
Mm.
struggle to recruit men. I have more women
Mm.
because they naturally manage the drivers more effectively because it's quite a lonely job. So when somebody needs a customer service support
Mhm.
and there's a nice helpful person on the end of the line,
Mhm.
they're going to naturally feel more supported.
Mhm.
And so just I suppose how that's turned out, um, we have a more female dominated office environment and
Mhm.
a more male dominated contractor environment.
Mm.
And the two actually complement each other.
Yeah.
If I could get more men to work in the office, I would. If I could get more ladies to drive lorries, I would. But people's circumstances dictate the roles that they want to do, you know, for their careers and to support their families
Yeah.
and that's I suppose the way that's what really shapes businesses. That's what really shapes who works for you and who doesn't.
Yeah. Meeting the needs of the talent market to a certain extent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So when you think back and you've obviously built up a really great book of business when you were in staffing. Then you set up your own business. You now, continue to set up new businesses and be successful. Were there any stages in your career where you felt like you may have been underestimated?
Oh yes. I presented once to a very well-known supermarket chain,
Mm,
huge tender proposition,
hmm
and we delivered a. We were already supplying into some of their DCs, and the procurement panel was all male.
mm,
And one of the procurement managers asked me, was I going to put my workforce in pink?
hmm.
Mm.
And I said, possibly not, because I think that would probably create a rather large laundry bill. But I suppose if the shade suits them and they want to wear it. Needless to say, I didn't get the contract, but the contract was given to somebody else who I think held it for about 6 weeks before we were called back in to sort out the problem. So, you know, it's how you recover from these things, Amy.
Yeah,
And it's, you know, that things like that make me smile. They don't make me think, oh, it's the war of the sexes kind at all. I just preconceived ideas need to be overcome.
yeah.
Um, and we proved our worth through our delivery.
Yes. Yeah, the
So,
work is always what matters. Like what you bring to the table is what matters and what should matter. You've mentioned a few times that you'd like to see, more women go into the logistics business. Do you think that there's anything that needs to change, like fundamentally about the industry to enable more women to go into that career sector at all?
I mean, I think most companies in the UK are, doing everything they can to inspire a diverse workforce,
Hmm
and an equal, platform for people to come in and forge their careers. Um, the logistics in the UK is 24 hours.
Yeah.
And if you are a family, you know, man or woman, you have to juggle that with your spouse, don't you?
Yeah.
So you're going to, or your partner, you're gonna work around the needs of the children, and invariably we have a collection of the workforce where, you know, dad works nights and mum works some hours during the day when she can. So women provide a flexible part-time resource that works, you know, incredibly well. But in a lot of the warehouses that we supply, in the event that the operation might need overtime, if you can only work 6 hours in that day and you need to go and pick your children up, you can't flex up and do that overtime,
Yeah.
which then creates more opportunity because actually you could have another lady work another 6 hours if they can, you know, job share or
Mm.
um,
Yeah, that's big in the
um,
UK, right? The job share thing. I don't see that too
uh,
much over here.
well, it's all about flexible working patterns, but it's also about creating opportunity.
Yeah.
So if you've got a 12-hour shift that needs to be covered, and you know one person can't do the 12 hours, but two people could do two lots of six, what's the
Hmm.
difference?
Yeah.
As long as the productivity remains the same.
Yeah. It's true. It's
And
true.
like I said, now as we get smarter with technology and working practices, it's a lot easier because normally it's just supervising the technology.
Mm.
So, and I think you'll see more of that as robotics come in. Um, and rather than looking at that as negatively, you know, those flexible working patterns will become more prevalent.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes
Um,
sense.
the you know, from a management perspective, I don't think there's any reason why you know women shouldn't come into the industry and forge, you know, great careers. Um, and I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see more great female managers coming in and leading teams. Um, I think that I think the logistics is exciting because it's going to keep evolving.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and you
it's
can
kind of
see
recession proof too. People are always going to need to eat. You gotta, delivering things
need,
around
but the
the,
way people shop changes, so you do see a change in demand. So, but I mean, we have a thousand contractors working for us every
Wow.
week at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, and I think if there were another 500 out there that could work for us, we could fill that again. So
Wow.
there is definitely a skill shortage in driving
Yeah.
HGV vehicles. There's a huge shortage of drivers, you know, across the world even.
Mhm.
Um, but that's very different from working in logistics in, you know,
Yeah.
either a management role or in a lower level role and
Yeah.
working your way up, you know.
Yeah.
Drivers get paid very healthily in the UK. They
Yeah, they
can
do
earn
here too. Yeah, they're very
they
well
can
paid. But it's a tough job. On the road a
absolutely.
lot.
Oh, it's
You're
lonely.
alone.
It's
Yeah.
it's incredibly lonely.
Mhm.
And not always healthy for people's, you know, mental health.
Yeah.
So
Or physical
there's
health, because if you're always on the road, you're always
right.
eating.
Well, well, you eat whatever you can grab on the
Yeah.
side of the road.
Yeah.
So we do try to put lots of well-being strategies in place, and you know, give people the opportunity to or try to educate them in the opportunity around the opportunity of exercising and building that into their day, you know.
Hmm.
And I think, you know, I mean, I think the population in general has become a lot more health conscious, and that includes, you know, drivers.
Yeah.
Um, Funnily enough, those frustratingly for us, those that people don't want to do the more unsociable shifts now because they're building their well-being strategies into, you know, and strangely enough, nobody wants to go to work at midnight. So, um, But yeah, so it's good to see people looking after themselves um, and having more of a healthy outlook and still, working for us in that vein.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. I think we're gonna just ask you for some key takeaways at this point. Erin, do you have the list?
I do. I've got a few in mind, so we'll just sort of rapid fire these, Gail. The first is, would you share with us one mindset shift that has changed everything for you?
Oh, um, it's got to be working smarter. It's got to be,
Mm,
if there's an easy route, take it.
love that.
There's got to be, you know, um, uh, yeah, it's got to be it's got to be about working smarter. I think when you're in the thick of it in the woods, you don't always see the obvious. So
Mhm.
when you take a step back and you become more strategic and you give yourself a chance to think and breathe and sort out, problems and find solutions, you just become a lot more productive.
Mm,
And you just taking care of you and taking care of those around you is really important. And it is you keep having light bulb moments then.
mm,
Once you feel lighter, once you feel like, work is an easier route to achieve your goals, your ideas and creativity start to build and it becomes exciting.
yeah.
So for me, that and that actually came about for me during lockdown, during um, you know, putting coping strategies into my day
Mm,
that made me cope with the situation and still be really productive. And I thoroughly enjoyed it and thoroughly embraced the experience.
The
yeah.
world of business has just changed so much, even in the last few years, to your point. What is one behavior, Gail, that you think people in business should stop tolerating in today's world?
Or procrastinating. God, I can't bear all this waffle and excuses that people give you. It's like, for God's sake, just get on with it, please. Um, I don't suffer fools gladly.
Mm.
And the woke, the 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 precious outlooks I don't really tolerate.
Mm,
I'm a bit of a no messing character. Get up, get out, and get on with it. We get one crack at life. So procrastinating is just a waste of your energy. Put your energy into things that will give you results or give you experiences or help another person. There isn't, there's no reason to procrastinate.
yeah.
And I'll
Just
maybe end
do it.
with one more, Gail. What is, if you could share a single piece of advice with someone thinking about stepping into business or into an entrepreneur role, what would that be?
Mm, good one.
Gosh. Um, don't take it too seriously.
Mm,
It's very, when you're putting your heart and soul into something. I mean, I sold my house to start up my business.
yeah.
And for me, that was really exciting. I wanted the risk. I wanted to 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 take the risks and see the results. And you've kind of got to embrace that journey.
Mhm.
Um, and not. I often say to people, "Has anybody died?" And they say to me, "Well, no, but." And I say, "But no one's died."
Yeah.
So don't take it so seriously. Don't get wrapped up and absorbed in the mire.
Hmm.
Um, Believe in yourself, enjoy the excitement and the adrenaline that comes with a sale. And when you get a knockback, use it to be even more determined to get a successful sale the next time round. Learn from that knockback. Why did I get knocked back? Well, okay, I could have done that better, so next time I will do that better.
Hmm.
Don't see it as a disadvantage. See it as an advantage. See it as something that's taught you a lesson. Because from bad things, good things always come.
Yeah.
And be positive. There aren't enough entrepreneurs in the world that embrace that strategy, and yet those that are successful entrepreneurs have all got that same positive mindset, and they've all, when you get chatting to them, you kind of find that there's no easy route.
Yes.
People will always tell you that, oh yeah, I made my millions by, I don't quite know what fantasy they come from, but the only route is through hard work. Whether you're a busy mum and you're juggling children and you're juggling, looking after the house and working on your, I don't know, influencing and Amazon platform and being an affiliate of something, you've still got to put your heart and soul into it. Pick the right, affiliate, pick the right product to market. It takes time and energy. Don't procrastinate, and you'll be successful.
That's awesome. I agree with everything you said, and I know you've said it to me in other conversations before, and it's so true. You have to enjoy the process. Like, yes, we're all working towards the result of, being that person that can sit in the room and say, "Oh, I made my millions by this time or this whatever." But it's a lot of work and blood, sweat, and tears before that point. And you have to almost like fall in love with the process of putting that together. And you're so right. Like there's no job too small, no job too big when you're starting your own business. Everything sits with you, and you have to enjoy it. And you're right, the risk. I think, you bootstrapped your business by selling your house. We've bootstrapped ours by severance packages from the companies that we worked at previously. And so, it's nice on one hand that you don't have investors to kind of deal with, but on the other hand, it's like, I gotta make this work, and it's kind of a thrill once you get over the abject terror. Like it's kind of fun.
If you've always worked for somebody, the security is also intoxicating because it's
Yeah.
just,
Mhm.
you get into this mindset of, I mean, I can only speak about the UK, so forgive me if it's different in America, but,
No.
we get between 4 and 6 weeks holiday a year. So people look at their salary and are planning their holidays before they've been paid.
Yeah.
That's what we work for. We work for our holidays. Um, when you are an entrepreneur and you are, um, you don't know where the next paycheck's coming from. You know that you've got a target to meet in order to, your goal is your holiday. It's a different mindset. You've
Yeah.
got to make that money. Somebody asked me the other day, how much money do you earn? I said, I don't, I make. There's a difference. And there is a
Yeah.
difference. Um, and the trips that I plan on and the places I go to, I write myself a little list of. I don't believe in having one bucket list. You see, my bucket list is unique for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So every year I plan little experiences that I want to achieve in that year that I can tick off my bucket list, because I think you do different things at different ages and stages in your life.
So true.
Um, so I always sit, around between Christmas and New Year and think about what do I want to do this year? What are my goals for this year? To go to travel to different places, to do different experiences, to throw myself out of a plane and, over the Virgin Islands or something. I don't know. But that's my focus for the year. That's what I need to make my money to achieve.
Yeah.
And then in with all of that, I also try to think about what I can never say this word properly. What what
Philanthropic.
yes,
Philanthropic?
causes I
Yeah.
can embrace along that list of goals. So I
Yeah.
set myself some challenges and some fundraising goals, and I think it's really important to give back. So um, and then it all becomes really purposeful.
Hmm.
And that's why, when you asked me that question previously about the shift in your career, it's because you're at stages in your career, you have different purposes. And now, as I'm sort of coming to the end of my career, or the end maybe of this chapter,
Hmm.
um, you automatically want to give back. You automatically want to be more purposeful, um, and you automatically want to show your community that being humble and remaining humble during the course of your career is what has given you that.
Like the edge.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
yes.
you want, it's not just about you, it's about what impact you can make on
Impact,
those
yeah, the
around you.
impact. The
Yeah.
impact on your social community, the impact on those around you, the impact of people's careers. It's about impact. Um, I hope that's
No,
been a bit inspirational.
no, it's great. It's great. It's always fun to talk to you, Gail. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I am super excited for other people in the Stratavis community to hear the little pearls of wisdom that we get from you when you have the time to connect with us. And we are always grateful for the time that you do share with us. And my final thought is just if you are setting up your own business and it's a hard slog in the beginning, but that busy breeds business is so true. Get busy helping people, talking to people. Even if you're doing things just out of the goodness of your heart to help others along the way, you'd be surprised how that has an impact on your bottom line, which, as you correctly stated, is very important in the beginning because you got to keep those lights on.
Too true. Too true. Thank
Thank,
you, Amy.
thanks so much.
And you, Erin. It's a privilege
Thanks,
to have been here
Gail.
tonight. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.